Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about cultivating happiness, about synchronicity and number sequences also. When you see 1111, 2233, and so on, what does that mean? Over these last 2 weeks have been very powerful shifts of frequencies. A lot of us on the higher vibrational realms have been feeling deeper and intense feelings. Those feelings have been ranging from sadness to happiness. What I know is a lot of us not only carry our own sadness, our own grief, and our own happiness, but we also carry it for others of different stages of consciousness. We carry that for them to help them through it. So that's where the past 2 weeks have been coming into play for me. I've been feeling deep levels of sadness and also big levels of happiness, and I've been recognizing that the feeling is the same. Let me explain. If I go back about 7 or 8 years when I was living in Virginia, I had not picked up this mediumship work yet. But I was feeling really good. I had a great job. I was living with my family. I was making good money. I was able to go visit my daughter in New York City whenever I wanted. Life was good. And I'd be driving in my car or walking outside, and I would experience this bubble of happiness where it brought me to tears. I couldn't explain it. It just felt wonderful. The tears in my body didn't feel happiness. It just felt like happiness was washing through me. Okay, that may explain it a little bit better. Happiness was washing through me, and it was going with tears. I was doing it with tears. I was feeling that wash of tears washing happiness. As I'm speaking about it now, I guess it's almost like it opened a floodgate to happiness, and that's what tears are. They open the floodgate. They're the melting of the iceberg that surrounds your heart. That's what tears are. So in that moment, I felt pure happiness. With that awareness came a lot of other awarenesses. I'd been vegetarian for a while. I'd been raw food for a long time. At that point, I think I was eating some meat, some fish, some chicken. But it got to a point where I'd look at that or see a commercial of chicken, fish, or any sort of meat, and it would make me sad. I would cry those tears of sadness now. And that's what I called it, tears of sadness. But yet I felt the same. I felt happy, but yet I was explaining those tears as sadness because that felt different when I saw an animal having to die for our food, when I saw, for me, this is just for me, this has always been my knowing. You know, these videos are all about what I know and what I'm experiencing, and I won't share them until I figured it out. So here I am sharing this awareness with you. I was sad. I was sad to see animals in trucks. It was a different sort of sadness. Animals in trucks going to their slaughter. Most people get angry, and I was just seeing it as love for these animals, sadness for these animals, but it was coming up as tears. I didn't know how to explain it. Flashing forward, these feelings continued. Still, I was explaining it just the way I'm explaining it to you. I was happy when I felt happy and the tears came, and then I was sad. But when I cried, it still felt releasing, even in sadness. So I'm figuring out, okay, what do these tears really mean? And we all know that tears are great. Tears are a great release. Even a second of tears is as good as an hour-long tear cry fest with yourself. So yesterday comes along, and I'm watching a movie, and there was something happening between the two characters where there was great care being shown. And I got that feeling again, and I cried. But everything about it felt the same. Happy, sad, guilty, shame, fear. All of it was the same coming through my tears. I felt like it was washing away something. Some vibrational shift was happening with this moment of tears. And I said to myself, These tears of happiness feel the same as when I cry for an animal being slaughtered. And one of my great guides, Jerry Hicks, if you're unfamiliar with Jerry Hicks, take a look at Abraham-Hicks. Jerry was the first soul that I ever saw in spirit world. And he started me on this journey. So I see him now in my head saying things like, they are the same, Donna. You can't just delete sadness out of your vocabulary. You can't just say, I'm not going to feel sadness anymore. You can't just push it away, the sadness. And when I say sadness, I also mean the host of other things, fear, guilt, shame. And what he said to me was, you can't just do that. You have to cultivate happiness, and then the balance eventually shifts. The weight, the scale eventually shifts to more happiness than sadness. A lot of us do that. A lot of us say, I shouldn't be sad. Look at all I have around me. I shouldn't be depressed. I shouldn't be this way. Look what I have. I have a roof over my head. I have food, and there's so many of us that don't. But what Jerry was saying is, you can't just push that away. You have to bring more happiness. You have to cultivate the happiness, and eventually the balance shifts. So I wanted to do this YouTube video yesterday, but instead I just posted to Twitter one comment about, you can't just delete sadness. You have to cultivate happiness, and then that balances the scales. So I just did that. But this morning I woke up and looked at my daily email from the Abraham-Hicks camp. Now, I get them all the time, and I used to read it all the time, but now I just delete it. Well, for the past couple of days, I haven't been deleting. I've been reading them, and they've been great messages. This morning's message from Abraham was about happiness, and that confirmed for me what happened to me yesterday. So I said, okay, got to make this video. Synchronicity. Was that synchronicity? Absolutely. Synchronicity to me, what it means to me, what I know it is to me, is validation, confirmation from my higher self. Higher self, as we know, if you don't know, is that piece of you that knows everything. It knows what we did in previous lives, what we did in this life, and what we're going to do. And we set up goals for ourselves in each lifetime to hit. We'll call them arrows. We set up these arrows for ourselves to hit. We set them up in our previous lifetime, in between lives. So when I hit a synchronicity, I'm on that track, and I set myself up for this synchronicity. So when I get a synchronicity, like today's Abraham-Hicks post on happiness, confirming what happened to me yesterday, I say, great, I'm on my path. It doesn't mean that there aren't a ton of other paths that I could have diverted. That would have been all well and good, but maybe there weren't as many synchronicities there, and I had to find my way back to this. I view synchronicities the same way I view number sequences. For a long time, and still for me, it's 1111. For a long time, it was 33 for me. Every boyfriend I ever dated had the number 33 somewhere in their life. Baseball jersey, their call sign on the ambulance service. Something was always 33. And I just thought, crap, 33. That's just me getting to another dysfunctional relationship that's not going to last. Here's another 33. But what I realized later on, when I accepted the fact that 33 is a very pertinent number because it was the year that Jesus died, it was the year that the Buddha died. And what I gathered from that was 33 was my synchronicity, that each of these relationships was showing me something, was giving me a message, was extending me a lesson. So then I looked back again at all those relationships and went through them again and learned some more without having to go back to them. So number sequences for me kind of are like that. Of course, you can look them up and see what 222 means, 333, 444 means. To me, 222 is family and giving support to family. 444 for me are the angels are with you. And 555 for me is Jerry is with me. Those were his favorite numbers, 55. I don't usually see the higher ones, though there was a day when I saw 111, 222, 333, all the way to 999 in one day. That was pretty cool. So I view number sequences the same way I view synchronicities. What it's showing me is I hit another arrow. This is confirmation. I don't need to be validated. This is only confirmation that I am on the path, and I hit another arrow that I set for myself in my previous life, in my in-between lifetime. I love synchronicities. They happen more and more as you move up with your vibration. I'm going to talk another video about fourth dimension, fifth dimension, and sixth dimension. But as you move up higher in those planes of consciousness, synchronicities happen more often and quicker. They're not deja vu anymore. They're just, this is your life, here you are, and it's like, oh, this huge moment just opened up, and here's your synchronicity. Here's the number thrown at you. Here's the Abraham-Hicks camp giving you a message. That was the second time this week that they gave me confirmation for what happened the day before to me. What does this make me? This makes me happy. This cultivates happiness. Is it easy to hang on to? It's not. Happiness is not easy to hang on to. There's lots of times where I'll say to myself, it can't be possible that I'm this happy. There has to be another shoe that's going to drop. Something has to happen. It can't be possible. And I find myself looking at things to make me sad, to make me hurt, to make me angry. I recently had a little problem getting a check in the mail. It took over a month and it's still not with me. I stayed with it. I'm like, this sucks, but I don't know what I'm going to do besides make a bunch of phone calls. And then I just released the idea that I'm ever going to get it. I just said, forget it. And someone said, no, you can't do that. And this woman at the post office helped, and this man at the post office helped. It's eventually on its way to me, I hope, I think. Does it really matter? Nope, at this point it doesn't. What matters is that I cultivate happiness in each moment, that I find happiness in myself, that I am responsible for my own happiness, not other people, other things, animals, friends, family. I am responsible for my own happiness. I am responsible for cultivating my own happiness and tipping the scales to make happiness more. That old proverb, you have fear and you have love. Which one are you going to feed? I'm going to feed love. I'm going to feed happiness. To me, the two of those go together. So there's a lot of Googling you can do on repetitive numbers and synchronicity. I'd love to hear your stories about synchronicity, how that happens in your life, and what do you view it as? Do you wait around for synchronicity to happen, or do you live your life with your eyes wide open and finding that synchronicity all times? Because if I hadn't gone on that, if I hadn't looked at that email this morning, if something said, look at the email, look at what they posted this morning, and I did. When I say something said, when it's so early and I'm not really thinking, I'm not tuning into spirit, but I listened to my gut, and then it said, open that video. So I did open that email, and I did. Let me know about how synchronicities work for you. You can shoot me an email at dboylemedium@gmail.com. I am currently working on a YA book about a young girl with abilities to flash back to her past lives. I am looking for some help with that, be it an editor or an illustrator or someone to help me with that process. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. I am doing also a big event in Seattle at the end of the month, October 29th, at East West Bookshop. I hope you'll join me there. I'll put their link right here too, in case you want to sign up for that and you live in this area. Always looking to do any classes, either online, of course, always open to doing readings. They can be half-hour or hour-long readings. I can do them Skype, FaceTime, or a phone, or in person if you live in the Seattle area. Sending out all my love and all my happiness to you guys at this point in your journey. Cultivate happiness and keep your eyes open for synchronicities. Wish you the best. Talk to you again.